Is something really happening to me, or is it how it feels? It feels like you are hated by your husband if you're not told prior to, because you can't do nothing about it, honestly. You're either gonna stay or you're gonna go, and it's not as black and white as that. However, those are your options.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. I'm Coach Nazir.
And I'm his wife, Coach Fatimah.
And I am Coach Nyla. I am also his wife.
We are the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as your favorite relationship coaches, or so we're told, and the authors of the book,
Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored.
With that being said, we get asked this question quite a bit. I get asked the question in particular when it comes to when brothers have decided that they want to marry again. They want to go and ask, all right, how should I go about it? And sometimes, we get different emails about it. We deal with it with our clients. So here's the thing. We like to discuss best practices. Okay, best practices means these are the best things to really do for yourself, your personal growth, for your marriage, especially when it comes to polygyny. So the question is, all right, should I, one, talk to my wife first or kind of get her permission, make sure she's okay and cool with everything first? That's usually how it comes across, as a bunch of items like that. Or do I just do it, kind of tell her afterwards so I can kind of avoid, the fallout and all the drama stuff beforehand? Okay, and that's usually, again, how it goes. It's this or this. All right. Now, here's the thing. You don't need to seek permission of anyone. If you're the man of your family, you're the man, the leader of your family, you don't need to seek permission of anyone. All right. You have that ability. You should be able to make the best choice for your family. Now, the difference comes to whether the best choice for your family is going to come across well if you decide to practice polygyny, if you delay and say it after the fact. Being someone who delayed, said it after the fact, saying, okay, well, I'll deal with whatever drama, stress, or whatever come after the fact. I know that's not best practice. All right, it's not, for many different reasons. One is because as men, if we're the leaders of the family, we're built to be warriors, right? We're built to take care of, protect, to lead, provide, all of these different things we're supposed to do. So there's a question that just popped in my head. Brother asked a question about vulnerability. How come we can't be vulnerable, this and this and that, blah, blah. We can, but it's not to everybody. Mm-hmm. That's very important because men, we lead, we have conquest, we expand. It's about expansion. As soon as there is a weakness spotted or shown, it's looked at as whining and as an absolute weakness. You don't put that to your enemies, because if you are a man, you have enemies. If you are human, you have enemies. Okay? And one of those things is to really infect the family structure, the familial structure, period. All right, so with that being said, if you're a warrior, then that means you have to be utilizing your courage in different ways. One of those is not to just go say, all right, I want another wife, I'm gonna do that, and then we'll deal with whatever after the fact. Not wise. Can you do that? Yeah, you can do it, you can, man. But at the same time, you could also be a tyrant if you want to as well. We don't encourage either. So best practices, and again, I'm saying it from a point of, I had to go through different blowback and a fallout and different things like that because I thought I was being rational, when in reality, I didn't consider all the different points. Pardon the interruption. We want to share with you something that's very important, a project that we've been working on and empowering people with, called the Polygamy Masterclass. I conduct a 4-part men's polygamy masterclass where we go through the 4 stages of polygamy. So when we're talking about the idea stage, the what to expect stage, to transitioning, as well as the new normal, which includes a whole bunch of stuff in between there. All right, of course, including leadership and financial things as well. Now, I want men to check that out by going to polygamymasterclass.com. In addition to having access to the live courses as well as the pre-recorded ones, you also get downloads, you get access to me directly. So let's get busy if you really are serious about practicing polygamy in a healthy manner.
Yes, and in our Women's Polygamy Masterclass, we train on preparedness in polygamy.
In addition to connecting with your co-wife and everything in between.
So make sure you go to polygamymasterclass.com for higher level education. Now back to your video. Okay? Because again, the dynamics of polygyny are new, especially if you've never been involved in it. All right. So there are going to be things and experiences and feelings and challenges that you have not come across before. So the best practice is to, one, have the discussion whether or not you're even considering polygyny. Have the discussion with your spouse. You married in monogamy. You have a discussion regarding it, period. So you understand where a person is, what their fears may be, so on and so forth, and you can discuss things openly. If you can't talk to your spouse about stuff openly, then there's already a problem. That's not a polygyny problem. That's already a problem in your marriage. Yep. Okay? So address it, deal with it, overcome that, because that will help you develop better connectedness in general, as long as you're genuine and you're open. So you can be vulnerable there in that position first. Second, since you don't need permission, but having that conversation establishes and gets some clarity, at least of what you're thinking. All right? Because a person may not like it. They may blow up. They may be emotional. They may actually be with it or thinking about themselves, just waiting on you. Okay? But one thing they cannot say is that I lost respect because they didn't say it to me.
Right. There it is. So true. That's right.
All right? I lost trust because they didn't say it to me. They could have said it to me. And as sure as a man, as the warrior, as the one that's supposed to be to protect and provide, you should be out front. That's best practice. Not waiting. Can you wait? Yeah, you can wait. But if you're waiting, that means you're choosing to delay and build up what's ultimately going to be a problem. And it's not even the problem of polygyny. It's the problem that you didn't communicate something that you should have being best practices. Now, did I know that back in the day? No. Did I weigh some stuff in my own mind? Was there anybody or organizations like Outstanding Personal Relationships that was talking about it like that? No. So we formed it. All right. But I did think about it and so on, and I made a decision. It is what it is. We, made it and weathered the different storms and challenges and stuff like that so that we can be talking with you right now. But when we're talking about best practices, that's what I mean from that perspective when it comes to talking to your initial wife. And then at the same time, best practice is talking with someone that you are going to marry, whether you're talking with her, talking to her Wakil or Wali, and what your expectations are as the man. Because again, they're marrying you. That's right. Your individual marriage. But you are the one practicing polygyny. Your wives are not. So in doing so, you have to have an understanding. Because are you going to go and now all of a sudden she's going to be restricting what she can do? Like, oh, we got to keep the secret. Don't tell your parents, or don't do this, or, let's just wait until my wife comes. Then I'll let her know eventually. Now you putting her.
Because she's going to be there.
Right, you put her in a precarious situation. You know what I'm saying? What she said was, don't go to this place because she'll be there and might find. That's too much juggling and stuff, right? But again, if you're supposed to be the warrior, protecting the family, you got to have the courage to go ahead and deal with it. All right, that's best practice. Is it mandatory upon you? If you want to do it in the best way, then yeah, it is. If you want to delay it and go back around and lose respect and so on and so forth and fall into other areas of, being less of a man, then don't. But now you've been warned.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, I'm spitting and letting you know the truth from where we stand and from clients we work with and what we've been through, what I've been through, at least from that perspective. But now let me be quiet and see what the wives think. No, you go first.
Right. No matter, y'all gonna get the information anyway. No matter who go first, but I go first because I was here first, and that's what some of y'all gonna say. Now, one thing I'm gonna piggyback off of what Coach Nazir said. It is the best practice because what happens is what he said. You lose respect, and it could take years to get it back. And if you don't do things in a certain sequence, all the goodness that you did do for your wife will disappear. It gets erased because they can't think about the good that you did because all this bad stuff you just did, I don't remember none of that, and I ain't trying to remember none of that. And then the wife feels hated by you, whether it's your intention or not. Because, see, we got to weigh if something really happening to us, right? Coach Nyla was speaking on that, and we train on that. Is something really happening to me, or is it how it feels? It feels like you are hated by your husband if you're not told prior to. Because you can't do nothing about it, honestly. You're either going to stay or you're going to go. And it's not as black and white as that. However, those are your options. You're going to either stay and make things as best as you can make them, or you're going to go and then think about like the consequences of divorce, because it's not just happening to us, especially if you have children. You got to be ready for that thing. It's a huge, huge decision to make. You got to be very careful about making it. So understanding that with that being said, I'm gonna go to the other side. The other extreme of that is understanding that if you are willing to have the conversation, be willing to do it. And if you're not, get the willingness to do it because it is of great value to you because you cannot go back and have it. You can't go back and have that hard conversation, that initial hard conversation before polygyny. You can't have it once it's done. You can't go back in time. But then you have it, but then you gotta, like Coach Nazir was saying, you gotta think about all the blowback you're gonna get. You're gonna get it anyway. It just would be better for someone to know that you're thinking about the idea of polygyny, practicing polygyny, or you're gonna move forward with it, and that's not gonna change. So if you're a husband and you want to practice polygyny and you need to sit your initial wife down, or you might have 2 wives and need to sit them down for the third, you need to understand that conversation is so vital to the success moving forward into polygyny, because I would hope you would want your wives, whether you have 1, 2, 3, to keep the respect level for you where it needs to be. They'll respect you more if you tell them a hard thing before it happens. They'll respect you more, even if they don't act like they do, because they might trip. They might act up, they might get upset, they might get emotional. 9 times out of 10, they will, But the intensity of it and their love for you won't be as, on quicksand if you tell them beforehand, because they'll respect you. Then, you know what, he told me. I might not like it. I might not want to share my husband, and that's all right. She could, want to be a little selfish with her husband. However, then when the wife knows, then she can help make it easier on everybody, because then it's not so much like you were saying to juggle. Because then she'll start feeling like she got to juggle stuff too.
There's a number of wives that even let us know, or even commented that they don't want to know. So but that's an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? That's not the majority. There's like, we don't want to know till afterwards, because then you count down the days and you count this down and feel like D-Day, you're dying inside. But one thing, again, they can't say is that you didn't tell me. So even though one of my friends told me a long time when I was fighting a lot of legal battles versus the city we're from, he said, you know what? They respect you. It's a begrudging respect.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
It's a begrudging respect. Yes. But they respect you because you're doing the thing.
Yes.
Even if they don't like it, even if they don't like you.
That part.
But there's a begrudging respect.
That's what it is. It's that. And then you go, okay, at least, because then you just feel completely erased when you don't know nothing. It's like, okay, this was all a game. This person didn't care about me. This was all, to make him look good. He's protecting his own ego and nobody else. It kind of feels like you left out in a field with all this stuff, but then you don't have the person that's supposed to protect you from this army of negativity, because that's what it is. I don't care if it's the first wife, the husband, the subsequent wife. There's an army of people out there with a bunch of questions. They're ready to ask you, and you don't have any answers. You're completely unarmed. So then that leaves you defenseless, and you want to defend your husband because that's your husband, and your family because that's your family, your marriage because that's your marriage. But if you're met with, you don't have any weapons, you don't have a shield, you don't have nothing. You're just out there alone, and that's how it feels. So just don't do that, y'all. Had a hard conversations.
When it all comes down to it, it's definitely that part of respect, and we know how important respect is for men, And in the video, I had talked about how it can be equated, like what women say, like a love and appreciation. That's kind of what, we say that more on a higher level than the respect. Of course, we do want to be respected. I'm not going to, act like we don't. It's just that we talk about love a whole lot more and appreciation a whole lot more, and it's kind of like that equivalent. So, and then that's another thing, even when it comes to, and Coach Nyla, he segued into that, talked about as far as also having that initial the conversation or the uncomfortable conversation with an incoming wife as well. Because when it all comes down to it, even though you have a lot of people out there that say, you know what, you guys are getting married. She already knew, whatever the case may be. She really don't. It's not a big deal of the conversation when it comes to for the incoming wife. The big conversation is making sure that the initial wife is fine, and everything like that. Everybody is involved in some way, shape, or form and need clarity. Everyone is involved in any shape or form, in one way or another. So when it comes in just an idea for those who are not aware, when you have an incoming wife coming in, she also needs information and clarity of what he is going to do as a leader. Is he going to talk to his initial wife? Is he going to let her know? Is he going to, is she going to be, kept under wraps, so to speak? People call it secret marriages and different things like that, or extremely private, or whatever you want to call it. Do you not go anywhere that she may frequent, or that people who know her may go? Do you not say these things? So it's these type of
like
things.
You're creeping around.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's something that's not honorable. Right,
exactly. So that's what I was about to say. Because it doesn't give a good look of a person who is protecting his family. It doesn't give a good look of a person who said, you know what, I'm the protector, I'm the provider, and I'm going to make sure that, like Coach Fatimah said, it was about, being left out in, in a field or something like that. It's like, okay, well, you're left here to deal with this information or this stuff till I figure out what I'm going to do over here. It does create a level of questioning of, what is this person a leader that I thought he was going to be? Or, do I respect a person who don't see that I'm important enough to be around people, or people are aware of me, that I exist, and things like that. Sometimes women say, they're like, well, he's a good guy and he does this. And I do understand that, she has to be, he got to do this on this end. And then you take away from you as a wife, you take away from a wife is a wife. Wife has these rights from their husbands, as well as husbands have rights, of their wives. So the thing is to be able to know that, well, what is this going to look like for me? Do I have to, am I going to be treated as a mistress because you're not speaking to your wife or letting other people know about me? And I have to make that decision. The thing about speaking about it and having these conversations, you give people clarity and you give them choice. So then they can have the choice of how they're going to go about it. How are they going to accept it? How are they going to deal with it? If they're going to deal with it at all. And when it comes down to it, I love it. And we've been saying it throughout this video. You can never say, I didn't tell you. You can never say you didn't know. That's one of my things, one of my keys and my phrases that I like to say, because I'm like, if I told you, even if you didn't like it, you could never say you didn't know. So, yeah. That's pretty much
I mean, yeah. So again, that's the difference between best practices, knowing how to make sure you're going about it in the way that you can set the foundation to be as successful as possible, without digging yourself into a hole to come back from. Yeah. All right, it's better to go from 0 above than going from 0 to -5 to -10 and try to come up, and you know what I'm saying? So it's much better to make sure you're having the conversation, being open, you're being honest, and you're doing what men are supposed to be doing. Yeah. All right. The difference might be the battlefield is different, because now you're dealing with internal stuff in your family. You can go out and battle the world all day, but when you come home, you don't want to have to battle here. You don't want to have this discomfort and this lack of peace, but you still have to deal with it, even though your desire to expand the family might be the cause of that. Right. But your ability to handle it effectively can really determine your success in polygyny long term. So a lot of people try it, do the trial and error. Now you've been married 15, 20 times and you have an initial wife or whatnot sitting there like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Or something wrong with me?
Revolving doors.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, it's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? So
we're not inflating the number. We're serious.
And we talking to men and women regarding best practices in that when you're deciding to practice or go into it. Yes. All right. Or again, even if you're not, premaritally, you should be discussing it. Right. All right. being new and being married. It's just being married and coming across the video.
Right.
You may not like it. Some people's like, look, it's hard to watch this content sometimes, but I got to get it.
Watch it, honey.
I'm
With a
telling
bowl
you,
of
we speaking from
popcorn.
experience on what best practices are. So prayerfully, you grab some great benefits, some gems from the video. With that, though, we want to know, did you make it to the end? Did you watch the entire video? You want more information on polygyny and stuff like that? You want to go deeper dive with our worksheets and have direct access to us? Of course, you can go to polygamymasterclass.com. But I want you to leave something in the comments below. So what they're going to leave in the comments below.
Have the conversation.
Have the conversation.
Have the conversation.
Have the
Have
conversation.
the conversation.
Have the conversation.
Yeah, have the conversation. Leave the comments. Let us know that you watched the whole thing. All right, if you have some feedback, let us know what you thought. What you think? Is it better? Was it not? All right.
Have
Hey,
the
again, we're open to it. We want to know.
conversation.
It has some different topics and different ideas. Feel free to let us know as well. With that, we're going to rock out with GLC.
Make sure you are growing intentionally.
Loving fearlessly.
Connecting on a higher level.
Every single day.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Peace.
Peace.
Here are 3 ways outstanding personal relationships can help you.
Make sure you guys are following us on our social medias at Outstanding Personal Relationships on YouTube and Facebook, and on IG at Outstanding Relationships.
And make sure you sign up for our email list. And you can actually email us at support@Outstanding Personal Relationships, where you will get updates on our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored, as well as exclusive access to our lives and bonuses.
Absolutely. If you're looking for more polygyny education, make sure you visit polygamymasterclass.com. Now, if you're looking for coaching or counseling with either Coach Fatimah or Coach Nyla, you can find them at.
Make sure you visit me at CoachFatimah.com.
And myself at CoachNyla.com.
That's how we can help you. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
Peace.